I call to order the September 10th, 2024 Brunswick Hills Township Board of Trustees regular meeting. It's been properly advertised. It is 7 p.m. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
And if everyone could please remain standing for a moment of silence for our first responders and military personnel. Thank you. Okay, tonight we have a public presentation from Homestead Insurance. Mark Herwick, would you please come up?
Yes.
And we have a packet of information from you.
I'm Mark Herwick from Homestead Insurance Agency. Our agency's right down the street from you there where Huntington Bank and everything is on the corner. We came in and looked at your voluntary benefits, just your accident and your critical illness, and met with Linda, met with Trika, and we have actually we're offering you a little bit better benefits package. It is 100% voluntary, which means it's a payroll deduction product for the employees. It's up to them whether or not they want to do it. Does not cost Brunswick Hills Township any additional premiums or anything like that. I guess there were some service problems and stuff with the provider that's currently in place. We're hoping to kind of solve some of that for you. So it is a better benefit. Rates are a little bit better. Colonial Life does additionally never raise rates. So the rates that are in the proposal will never increase for the life of the contract. I don't know if we're looking for an October 1st effective date, a November 1st effective date. You can really make the policy effective whenever you'd like to do that. So if we were going to do this for October 1st, we would have to get with your department heads and arrange the meetings and put the packets out to the employees and so on and so forth. So employees can enroll face-to-face. They can do it telephonically. We can do it through Zoom calls. We're obviously aware of that there are various shifts and so on and so forth. I do work with other municipals and townships, so I'm sure we can accommodate everybody and get the information in front of everybody and make it pretty simple to enroll if that's something they want to do. So to be clear, it would be replacing the current Allstate benefits that are in place. We would be replacing it with Colonial.
Would this be the life insurance?
We do have life insurance in there.
But that's
We haven't
okay.
talked about, this would not disrupt your Medical Mutual of Ohio life insurance policy that you have with them. This is just simply the accident and the critical illness.
Right.
Can you highlight some of the cost savings that you found in your comparison of the two?
This is when I wish Greg was here. He is actually the lead from Colonial Life that came in here. They had asked me to come in and do this. I think rate-wise, we were, I don't know without like looking at your census and doing it, we didn't put like employee to employee and then premium to premium to premium.
Okay.
But as far as like overall benefit, one of the most significant differences between their accident policy between Colonial and Allstate is ours is on and off the job coverage. So in addition to, so obviously if you were hurt on the job, if you were collecting Social Security or other benefits, it is an offset, but it does cover you 100% if you get hurt at home, fall off a ladder, or anything happens to you. So if you have an accidental injury of some kind. And the critical illness is pretty standard. I mean, critical illness really covers you if you get some type of cancer or you have a stroke or something significant happens to your health. And these are all cash benefits, I should be clear, that are paid directly to the employee. So, or their dependent if they roll their spouse or their child in the coverage. So what they're really meant to do is offset things like deductibles. So if I have an accidental injury, I go to the ER and I'm treated, I would get a cash benefit to help me pay the deductible or any expenses that I incurred.
And I think I heard that Allstate, the employee could still stay with Allstate. I don't know. Or would this be everyone would be switched over to this?
Everybody would be given the opportunity to switch over to this.
Okay.
Whether or not you keep your current Allstate benefits would really be up to you.
Okay.
We were hoping, because this is a little simpler from a service and billing standpoint, that would be easier. Honestly, I think if we put it in front of the employees, and we would, then when we sit down with them, we could tell them exactly what they're paying, what the benefit differences are. I don't know that anybody would want to stay with Allstate, but certainly if we had an interest in that, we can come back and talk to you about that.
Okay. And the rates that we were offered and given within are not dependent on a full transfer?
They are not.
Okay.
No, I mean, there are, I should say that, there are no participation requirements with
Okay.
Colonial. I mean, literally, if one person picked a product, you would, the policy would be enforced.
Okay.
Is there any other questions?
I mean, I don't have questions. as of
I have a
right now.
question, because we have
Sure.
a accidental injury for our part-time employees currently, that's not through Allstate. Do you offer this for part-time employees?
Yes, the only requirement, I believe, is that you work 30 hours or more. So it just depends on what your definition of part-time versus full-time is.
Okay.
I guess I think that since this is employee-driven, that the employees need to be involved in some kind of discussion with yourself.
Yeah.
uh,
See some real numbers.
Have them figure out what they want to do.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, full transparency. I mean, we
Yeah,
would just
so-
put it in front of the employee and say, here's what you have, here's what it costs, here's what we're offering, here's what it
Right.
costs. 100% up to you.
Mhm. So I suppose I would suggest that the department heads meet with you or somehow arrange some kind of a department meeting or something that
Okay.
everybody can be involved in.
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah, agreed.
And then we can go from there. Okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
I think
All right.
that's it.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Okay, the next order of business is approval of minutes. I have not seen any drafts yet, so we have no minutes to approve. For department reports, I have a report from zoning. The permits issued in the month of August, from August 1st to August 31st. The total is $966.19. It includes 3 accessory buildings, 1 change of owner, 4 decks, patios, or porches, 5 fences, 1 freestanding sign, and 2 in-ground pools. And that's all I had for zoning. And moving on to police, chief.
All right, a couple updates here and one request. First update is with our facility, the police department. So we've had a lot of workers in there over the past couple weeks due to the flooding of the air conditioning system in the squad room and evidence room and in the roof. So right now the roof still is tarped on the back section. We're waiting on contractors to come out and fix that. The downstairs basement, drywall's all up. Today the painters were in, so we'll be ready to go ahead and start getting the shelves in the next couple days and get the lights back up and then re-securing our evidence from evidence 2 and moving it back to evidence 1. Garage is pretty much almost done also. The painters are going to be out there this week to start painting that. We did upgrade and get a furnace, so the furnace has been installed with ductwork, so that's already in there. I was able to successfully put the old heating units, the radiant heaters on GovDeals, and those were gone and sold in the 7 days. So the money will be coming back to the fiscal officer to put back in account. So we're moving along right there. It is still a mess in the squad room in my office. So working in a full-time 24-hour police department where guys are doing reports, our squad room is still plywood and it's pretty pretty rough in there. So we're still waiting on contractors for the flooring and to get that done. So hopefully by the end of this month, we'll be back in operation the way that we were before all this stuff happened and in better shape. On behalf of the Brunswick Hills Police Association, they want to thank all the residents that contributed and helped out in the raffle. We had the one grand prize that winner was drawn this past Saturday. We had over $4,000 worth of prizes that were added to this major prize. So I just want to thank all the businesses, all the local people that contributed to the basket, and then all the support. What's going to happen, the Brunswick Hills Police Association has those funds, and anytime Agua or K9 needs medical treatment, food, or whatever, for the past 5 years, that's how he's been fed, is through donations, and we're going to continue to do that. If he needs any vet care or anything like that, we have those funds available for him. So thanks, everybody, and thanks the Police Association for doing that for us. The one request I have is a conditional offer of employment interview by the trustees for Mike Pish for the position of police officer as a lateral transfer to the Brunswick Hills Police Department. He's met all the requirements, and the background investigation has been completed, and he has completed his oral board at the police department and scored pretty well. So I'd just like to have the trustees interview him so that we can move forward with the conditional offer. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Do we want to interview now or wait till the end of the meeting?
I'm sorry?
Do we want to interview now or wait till the end of the meeting?
Do the end of the meeting, it's fine.
And?
Yeah. it's fine with that.
Okay, moving on to fire department, Chief.
Good evening. I'm just going to start briefly with tomorrow's 9/11, obviously a historic day in our country's history. That day is very special for firefighters. We lost 343 of our brothers and sisters. I just would like to remind everybody, take a moment tomorrow to reflect upon what the day actually means to our country, and thank the first responders that give no thought to running into danger for the residents of the communities that they serve. Start with my monthly report. First, 77 EMS calls, 31 fire calls for a total 108 for the month of August. Year to date, then on the 1st of September was 878. We collected $30,487.86 for a year to date total of $231,804.68. We gave mutual aid 16 times, received mutual aid twice. Some notable events and activities. We did have a student on the 1st from St. Ambrose shadow our department, came in, spent the day with the crew, had lunch with them. They put him through the ringer, so to speak, and let him drag hose, move dummies, do some EMS skills. So he had a good day. Every year we host a student from St. Ambrose for career shadowing. Our crew attended the St. Emilion Parish picnic. On the 6th, you'll remember we had the severe storms move through northeast Ohio. So we had several down trees and power lines, and we worked with police and service to get the trees off the road. On the 11th, we responded to a commercial structure fire in Valley City. That was a Sunday morning. And then on the 31st, responded to a hazmat call in Westfield at the solid waste disposal plant, our center. Our crews had 40 classes for 65 and a half hours of class time. Some of that training included going to the flashover training in Hinckley. This August hands-on drill was the advancing a hose line up and down a ladder, both in dry and charged, 2 different techniques. They did an online safety training video, and our officers are starting the transition to doing First Due, which will be our new records management system, all the online webinars associated with that. So there's, I think right now, about 12 hours worth of online webinars that they're working their way through, about 1 hour at a time. First request that I have is for Trustee Nixon to sign a 3-year annual maintenance agreement with Howell Rescue for the preventive maintenance and inspection of our extrication tools. I will note for the board, on page 2, the date says 8/29/20. It's a formatting error. When you actually see it on a digital thing, it says 2024, but for whatever reason, when you print it, it says 20. But this is new for Howell. Normally, we do it on a year-to-year basis, and the price increases each year. They're locking in the price for the next 3 years.
Go ahead.
Move to approve.
I will second.
And Chief, this was the minimal 3% that we discussed, correct?
No, this increase from last year is about 3%, but then it's flat for 3 years.
Right, okay.
Correct.
Okay. Great.
Ryan?
Yes.
Tricka?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Next is requesting approval for repairs to engine 21-2. There was a list of deficiencies found during its annual PM and pump testing. Those repairs total $4,718.53. And if you approve it, we do have money in purchase order number 20 to Falls Way, which would be used for that.
All right. I'll move to approve those repairs in the amount of $4,718.53.
A second.
Tricka?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Then just a whole list of announcements. So first, I was going to announce that we applied for a BWC Safety Intervention Grant for gloves. It was probably the shortest turnaround time I think I've ever seen from BWC. They already actually sent us the notification today that we did receive the grant in the amount of $3,375. So what we'll be doing is buying each of our firefighters a new pair of leather firefighting gloves. If you want to know, they're about $130 a pair. So there is a match to that, and our match is $675. So for just about $4,000, everybody will have a new set of gloves. Next, we'd like to thank Boston Road Auto. We are having an issue with the steering in car 29. They recalibrated the steering module and did that at no charge for us. So thank you to Boston Road Auto. A couple of announcements on what our firefighters have been doing in the community. We had several firefighters go to the Tunnel to Towers race in Medina, firefighters Winland, Mahalik, and Kreider, and that was this past Sunday, so thank you to them for participating. Next is, obviously, we have some good golfers. Strauss, DeSalvo, and Mahalik, and a former member, Corey Hayden, competed in the Southwest General Golf Outing and placed first, so good job, gentlemen. And then, if you remember, just about a month ago, we congratulated Luke Roddick on being sworn in at Sheffield Lake Fire Department. Well, he has since been offered a new position with the city of Bedford, so he's going to be leaving them. His last day there was Sunday, and he will start Bedford on Monday. So congratulations to him. Pay increase, I guess. Good stuff for the community. Sunday, October 6th is our open house from noon to 3 at Fire Station 2. As always, we will have shuttle service to and from church parking lot on substation. Just follow the signs, and the bus will pick you up and bring you right to the fire station. And this year, we're going to try something new. Hopefully, the police department will participate, but service is going to bring a dump truck and a wheel loader so that we have more of a kind of touch-a-truck kind of atmosphere. Unfortunately, Lifelight will not land in our back lot this year. They said it's getting to the point that it's too dangerous. So we had a good run with them for a number of years. They may do a flyover for us, so a low-level flyover. So I hope to see everybody there. There'll be hot dogs, pizza, all the popcorn, all the normal stuff, and all the fire trucks. We'll do an extrication demonstration and things like that. The next thing I'd like to talk about And if you were at the special meeting the other day, this letter was read. But it's from Inspector Matt Payne, and he had sent this email to me. And it says, Chief, after a considerable amount of thought and due to the harassment and hostile environment that's been created by a few residents, I'm requesting to withdraw my application for the position of full-time fire inspector / zoning inspector. I will continue to serve and protect the community in my position as fire inspector for Brunswick Hills Township. As the chief, the health, wellness, safety of the guys is very important. And to be honest, it saddened me that our personnel have been under criticism and personal attacks, both within the department and outside of here. And I just like to say to the community, these guys are here working for really they're part-time, so this is a part-time position for most of the department. They're doing their best to serve the community. They do it because they have a passion for service. They do it because it's been their lifelong calling. For Matt, I think he's over 34 years, 35 years he's been in the fire service. This is not something he's just trying out. He's a dedicated, educated member that provides value to our community. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay, moving on, service.
Yes. The service report for the month of August, there was a total of 697 hours. The roads had a total of 627. They did 18 hours at the cemetery, and general maintenance was 30 hours. They were at the fire department for 8 and the police department for 14. And there was the regular sign surveys completed, which included the second round, the second round of roadside mowing. They trimmed and sprayed all of the guardrails. Crossroads completed paving on Helen, Orchard, Denton Circle, Overton Drive, and Markwood. They replaced all sideboards on the dump trucks and installed 2 new catch basin risers on Catherine Overlook and Orchard Drive. There was a phone approval on August 28 to get truck number 8, the AC condenser fixed by Ron's Garage for an estimate of $1,230. There were 2 holes in the AC condenser, so they replaced the condenser and built new brackets to hold the hood in place so it would not happen again. This truck was fixed and picked up the next day. The total cost for this was cheaper than the estimate and came out to a total of $1,080, and this repair came out of blanket certificate number 30. I'll move to approve.
I'll second that.
Tricka,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes. And that's it for the service department.
Okay, moving on to trustee reports. Ryan?
Nothing as it relates to fire, IT, et cetera, but just as a follow-up to the last special meeting, I had told the general public that I would be looking into the correct verbiage that we can use for properly identifying public comments on. I'm still waiting to hear back from our prosecutor's office as far as what his thoughts are on that. And the other was I sent a copy of the zoning resolution for the medical marijuana, asking for his verbiage for a recreational resolution as well. And I do not have that back as of yet. So just 2 updates from the last meeting.
Okay.
Christina?
Nothing.
Okay, and I have nothing. Moving on to fiscal officer's report.
We have a warrant list dated today for $17,200. $227.17. And we have the payroll for 9/17 for $89,848.23. And that's all I have.
All right. I will move to approve payroll, the amount of $89,948.23.
I'll second.
Trika?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
And I will move to approve warrants dated September 10th, 2024, in the amount of $17,227.17.
I'll second.
Ryan?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Trika?
Yes. Okay, I don't have any old business on the agenda. Is there any new business? No. Okay, announcement of upcoming meetings. The next trustee meeting is September 24th at 7 p.m. The Board of Zoning Appeals is October 2nd at 7 p.m. And the Zoning Commission is October 3rd at 7 p.m. Is there any public input?
Linda Hudson, 314 Pearl Road, Brunswick Hills. Just a short follow-up for our special meeting that we had, Brian, that you discussed the marijuana issue. On November 7th, 2023, Ohio voters approved State Issue 2, which authorizes and regulates the possession, use, and sale of recreational marijuana and cannabis products. Out of the 24 states that have legalized marijuana over the past 2 decades, Ohio has some of the tightest regulations for adult use weed. Why would a township want to try and regulate something that is already regulated by the state and federal government? Studies have been done that project potential economic benefits of recreational legalization that includes additional tax revenue and job creation resulting from the establishment of the new regulated industry. The indirect effects of goods and services demanded by the industry could further spur economic growth in our area. If our township does not choose to adopt a resolution prohibiting or limiting adult use cannabis operations, this would make us eligible to participate in the funding program known as the Host Community Cannabis Funding. It is projected that the cannabis products sold in Ohio could be taxed 10% on top of the state's sales tax. The Host Community Cannabis Fund, which supports township, receives 60% or 36% of the revenue from the 10%. This revenue is distributed quarterly to all townships and municipalities that have adult dispensaries within their community. The funds are based on the percentage of adult use attributed to each township or municipal corporation as set forth by legislation that has been already adopted by the voters in Ohio and may be used for approved purposes. These funds could add up to a large amount of revenue for the township. These funds could be used to help fund a substance abuse fund, social equity and job programs, suicide hotlines, and mental health programs that are extremely underfunded in Ohio. Why would a township not want to be able to have access to this type of funding? A state licensed facility in their community would be regulated just as a state liquor store. Millions of dollars have been spent debating the issue for many years. The voters have voted for the legalization of marijuana in the state of Ohio. If the board feels that this issue is important, I ask that you research it a little bit more before you make your decision. A lot of information that has been given to townships has not provided a clear understanding of the Host Community Cannabis Fund. If you feel there's a need for some type of regulation, again, this is another issue for the Zoning Commission. Open up a line of your communication with your Zoning Commission to discuss the need, if any, for this type of legislation. The number of dispensaries, location of dispensaries, and all can be regulated through your zoning resolution. I don't believe that all of the citizens of Brunswick Hills would like to not take advantage of this. For many years, I was on the opposite side of this, but it has come full force and turned around for us, and it is an additional funding that we should not close out. If we decide to go down that route where it does, it potentially causes the township to lose hundreds of thousands, maybe, in dollars of tax revenue that could be generated by a licensed dispensary. We're in close proximity to Cuyahoga County. I understand the Ohio Township Association has given some sketchy guidelines and has kind of left it open to each of the townships to make their own determinations. Whether they push you in one direction or another, I think that we need to take a serious look at it and see. If you're in the middle of, and I'm going to use Homerville, I don't think we need a dispensary in the middle of Homerville, but as you get in closer to your municipalities, it's simply a step over the fence. Brunswick has already barred themselves from receiving any kind of, by taking this very action. I think that for Brunswick Hills Township, we don't want to close the door on it, but we need a lot more information. And of course, I think that it should be held open for the public to have that kind of input. It's very important whether we have 2 or 3 readings of the resolution, whether you do it through your zoning commission, but allow the people of the community to have voice in it. In Cuyahoga County, several of them did it individually by each city and municipalities, and most were overwhelmed by the responses that they received, both pro and for, or pro and against, and most of them passed it. So, for what it is worth, I don't think that we want to shoot ourselves in the foot before we get a whole lot more information on the amount of funding, how it is distributed, and those things have already been set forth. So now it is just a matter of saying, do we want it? If we do, where do we want it? And how do we control it? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Is there any other public input?
Thomas DeCastro, 358 Topaz Lane. I just, to go on, I will stand by Linda and just advise that the trustees do continue a public understanding of what the public is going to desire from a marijuana dispensary. We don't want to miss out on those funds. Also continuing on the special meeting that you had yesterday, I do want to publicly thank you for reversing your previous decision of removing the zoning office from our township and potentially reinstating it. I'd like to talk about the idea of really focusing funding and understanding into that new opportunity that we have before us of what the zoning could be. And it's particularly an idea of let's really forward think about planning. So obviously everybody's heard about the history of the context of the water wars, and I appreciate Trustee Chris for providing me information about what specifically happened in 2005. And that really provides a lot of history. So brief history, and this is way before my time, but obviously in 1975, we can clearly understand the city of Brunswick sued the county because the county refused to open a road for them to install water. That resolved in a 1977 judgment entry, which basically separated our township into 3 areas: services of water by the city, services by the county, and a subsection that will be serviced by the city once annexation is completed. 1987, the city codified that annexation process into their city ordinances. Then in 2005, the city of Brunswick sold all of their water infrastructure to the city of Cleveland, and in that contract, again, codified the annexation. Township, obviously at that point, initiated various lawsuits to go into that. The township failed in all aspects that it could throughout the courts. One, unfortunately, was a procedural issue that the council for the township back in 2007 made. But what was advised at that point by a very well-known law firm in downtown was that at this point, you're not going to win it through the courts. It just isn't going to happen. When you look at the 1977 map, 1/3 of your township will not get water unless they annex. That's 1/3 of the township gone. I don't even know if you can have a township still at that point with that much land loss. And also, more importantly, that much of a tax base gone. So if we don't open up political conversations with the city of Brunswick to understand how can we come to a new agreement and understanding of, is an annexation going to be required? Is it not going to be required? How can we work with them to, as a lot of people talk to the court, define the boundaries between the city and the township That's what a lot of people initiated what that 1977 was supposed to lay out, and it does. Very clearly, if you look at the map, this road, that road, it is segmented. It's not what you see today. It is very clear boundary lines. So we either have the choice of you guys can do that work, communicate with the city, begin the political conversations, or if you don't want to do the work, we can find someone in that zoning or zoning and planning, which I would really push, really focus on the planning aspect of our zoning to begin those conversations with the city of Brunswick. Otherwise, you might as well go ahead and start saying, you know what, why don't we call ourselves the city of Brunswick? Because so much land loss is there. The water, it's not the problem that we can't get the water. It's legitimately, we legally can't have the county provide it to those residents, to those developers if they want to change it. So please heavily think and consider, how do we really invest in our zoning and, more importantly, develop planning so that way we can work with the city of Brunswick on commercial areas, or we can work with other townships on commercial areas. Where can we work on residential, and then have conversations about where's that tax base going to work? What does the city need? What does the township need? And how do we really organize our community to protect current residents, protect future residents, to make sure everybody is properly taken care of?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Lucas Merkel, 131 Falmouth, Brunswick. Brunswick Hills zoning operates under a resolution that was passed in 2007. It's the township's sole authority to operate in such a manner. New resolution must be passed in order to make changes, including some changes in inspections, titles. The entire process is well spelled out by this single legally binding document. In fact, it's so specific that it states a new zoning resolution cannot be passed by trustees alone. The trustees wrote that into the document. I'm not sure why, but they need the Township Zoning Commission in order to change the process. I know that between the meeting where you announced the plan to combine zoning and fire and last week's meeting, when you rescinded the change, you reached out to the county prosecutor's office for advice on the proposed changes. And when I recently asked to review the emails under a records request, you refused to share the documents. I've done many public records requests over the years, and this is the first one from Brunswick Hills that has not been fully denied. The response I received was it was based on attorney-client privilege, which is 100% correct. However, you as the client can release the emails. I encourage you to foster transparency and openness to share those emails because I do not believe the real reason why you changed course was what you said. I believe they told you couldn't without a resolution, and I also believe there's a couple other things in those emails. So again, you're allowed to, and I would appreciate transparency and openness. My second query was the purchase of the 45 acres on substation at all. I was wondering if it was related to the Cosset Creek lawsuit the township settled out of court, perhaps restitution. The give and take agreement that was mutually agreed upon through mediation in the winter of 2023 was neither side completely happy and was not fully disclosed. I don't know if that full settlement agreement is available for review. I have not asked for it as of yet. But one of the Gazette articles said the cost of building something in 2019 is vastly different than it is now, said Tanya Rogers. She was the Ohio Township Association Risk Management Authority who represented the township. She went on to say the world changed significantly in 2020. They had to make a lot of concessions that they weren't happy about that cut into the ability to make profits and develop the property that they thought would be the best way. I was wondering if this is the way the township used the ARPA funds to make up for the regulatory takings without putting residents on the hook for the money required for restitution. Was the liability one of the reasons you wanted to change zoning to protect you in the future? And was this possibly the reason Evelyn was locked out of the computer room? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public input? Okay, seeing none. We have an.
Can I make a couple of comments, please?
Sure.
There was a lot packed into that, those two comments.
Sure.
From Mr. Merkel. No, to your answer to your question, no. The purchase of the property had nothing to do with whatever happened with Cossack Creek. Okay, that's number one. I know that you had made a public records request about getting emails, documents, reports, and handwritten notes that led up to the purchase of the parcel. All of those discussions and negotiations were in executive session, and those are not for public view.
Okay.
What were some of the other items? What were some of the items, Lucas, I can try to answer for you.
I can speak to one of them if you'd like me to
Sure.
jump in.
Jump in.
Lucas, you had asked about the locking out of Evelyn.
Yeah,
That was my decision
no, I know.
and has nothing to do with the land purchase or anything subsequent of what you had mentioned. So I'm not quite sure what you were trying to string together with all of
Yeah.
this, but A and B are completely separate of C.
Because in the zoning request from 2020, from Casa Creek asking for that parcel that you purchased was a parcel that they listed.
It was the whole golf course and then that
That
back piece.
parcel, that
Right.
parcel was
Right,
listed.
and then that fell apart, and you, please correct me on the dates,
Let's
et
go
cetera.
back to that, because we're in negotiations with the developer for that property. And we did come to an agreement of what we want there, what we don't want there, how much, what the density would be, and all that stuff. I mean, it took us a long time. In the end, it's my understanding, and we did come to an agreement, so it's my understanding that in the end, the folks that owned the golf course area, the gentleman had passed away. So now the agreement between those two parties, there was no agreement. Plus that land was not sold. So that's how that all happened. So that area there, as far as I know, we haven't seen any other developers come in and ask about it. So it still is Casa Creek, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, I think the kids that own it now
Yeah.
made an open statement that they have no intentions of selling
Okay,
that golf course.
okay. So there was an agreement at one time between the township and the developer, but that has since fallen apart. Would you like information on that? No? Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Anything
Just
else?
wanted to clear
Did
something.
I answer what you were asking adequately?
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, then we have an executive session for the conditional offer of employment interview for the police department. That's all I have.
Okay. It is, sorry, okay, yeah, we read off all the upcoming announcements, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it is 7:44. I'll move that we go into executive session and bring in Michael Pish, did I pronounce that correctly? Pichet, I really butchered that, I apologize.
That's all right.
And Chief Sopkovich as well. So we're gonna take in.
Okay.
In the back.
Okay.
Okay, I will second.
Chris?
Yes.
Trika?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Good night, everyone.